online, TV and digital radio. This is BBC Radio Wales.
A plan to detect and prevent rare diseases is being launched today by the Welsh Government. The hope is to ensure patients and their families get the most benefits from the health service if they're diagnosed with a rare disease. Well, let's speak to Len Woodward, who's originally from Morriston in Swansea and is a founding trustee of the patient support group aHUS UK, a rare disease that affects people's immune system. Good morning to you, Len.
Good morning.
Good morning. Did I pronounce that correctly?
aHUS, yes.
I did. OK. Can you tell us what it is for a start?
Well, I think most people will know about aHUS because in its typical form, it's what happens to people after an E. coli poisoning, and they end up either dead or with kidney failure. In the atypical form, there are other triggers, and people are sort of genetically predisposed to it, and it's very, very, very rare. So
what constitutes a rare disease? Because this plan to detect and prevent rare diseases being launched today is not just this disease, it's any rare disease. What makes a disease rare?
Well, it's when there's possibly one patient in 2,000 of the population. So in the case of aHUS, it's about 1 in 250,000. But there's a lot of rare diseases. There's about 5,000 rare diseases, and there's probably about 3 million people in the UK who've got a rare disease.
It must be very difficult if you suffer from one of these, because I imagine support groups are quite rare. There aren't many other people you can talk to who share your symptoms and your difficulties. And also, I presume drug companies are rather reluctant to spend a lot of money on something that is not going to have a big return.
That's right. By the very nature it's rare, you can be isolated. You may not know another patient anywhere, certainly not in your own hospital, but it's important to get social support. And there are patient organisations who can help with that.
So how is this new plan going to work, and how's it going to be delivered?
Well, it's the first time that they've set out a list of actions for dealing with the disease, from the point of view of diagnosis, because it's very difficult to get a diagnosis for a rare disease, from the point of view of getting the treatment and getting research to provide the treatment and to understand the cause of the rare disease. So it's the first time that's been set out by all the 4 home nations' national health services.
Right, so how will it actually, in practical terms, work then? Will there be a unit set up in every hospital, or will there be one central unit where anybody suspected of having something out of the ordinary will be sent to be diagnosed?
It'll be a mixture, really. There will be national centres of excellence. For aHUS, there's currently a centre of excellence in Newcastle where there's experts who know all about this very rare disease. There's only 200 in the whole of the UK with it, so not every hospital is going to understand it or know how to treat it or how to give information to their patients.
It's good news for people like yourself. 4 members of your family have died from aHUS, haven't they?
Well, in the past, yes, and sometimes before the disease was even identified. And not only that, members of my family are on dialysis, because that's one of the results of aHUS. You lose your kidney function.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's very good news, particularly if they can find a treatment.
Okay.
There's research into it and a treatment can be found.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Len. That's Len Woodward from the patient support group aHUS UK.